My name is Lauren Hayes. I'm 45 years old. By the time my marriage ended, I had already learned something dangerous about betrayal. It doesn't always feel like a mistake when it begins. Sometimes it feels like finally being seen. If I'm being honest, the first crack didn't happen the day I cheated. It happened long before that, in small, quiet moments. In the way my husband, Daniel, would look at me after a long day and say, "You look nice," like he was confirming a fact instead of discovering something. In the way our life became predictable, safe, structured. 22 years of marriage will do that. Routine settles in like dust. You stop noticing it until something disturbs the air. Daniel was a good man, a steady man, the kind of man who built things slowly, his accounting practice, our home, our family. He coached our youngest son, Mason's soccer team. He showed up, every time, and somehow that became invisible to me. It started at Ethan's divorce party. Yes, a divorce party. That should have been my first warning. Ethan was Daniel's younger brother, 38, charming in that reckless way that makes people forgive things they shouldn't. He lived in a downtown loft, surrounded by glass walls and temporary people. Women who came and went like seasons. I didn't belong in that world, but that night, I wanted to. I remember standing on his balcony, the city lights reflecting in the windows when he stepped beside me, close enough that I could smell his cologne. "You know," he said casually, leaning against the railing, "my brother doesn't deserve you." I laughed, not because it was funny, because something in me liked hearing it. "What would you know about what I deserve?" I asked. He turned his head slightly, studying me in a way Daniel hadn't in years. "More than you're getting." That should have been the moment I walked away. Instead, I stayed. The first text came that night. Simple, light. "Did you make it home safe?" Then another. "You looked incredible tonight, by the way." It wasn't just what he said. It was how he said it. Like I was something newly discovered, not something already known. Daniel noticed nothing. Why would he? I was still there, still making dinner, still folding laundry, still asking about his day, physically present, emotionally drifting. I told myself it was harmless. Just attention, just words. But attention can be addictive, especially when you've convinced yourself you've been starving. 4 months later, Ethan invited me to his loft. "Just to talk," he said. And I said yes. But here's the truth I didn't admit then. I knew exactly what I was doing the moment I stood in front of my mirror. The makeup, the dress, the lie I told Daniel about meeting a friend for lunch. None of that was accidental. It was deliberate, carefully constructed. And somewhere deep down, I knew there was no going back after that door opened. His apartment smelled like wine and something expensive I couldn't name. There were candles already lit, music playing softly. Too perfect. Too prepared. "You planned this," I said quietly. He smiled. "I hoped you'd say yes." That was all it took. Not pressure, not force, just permission. We slept together that afternoon, while my husband was at work, while my sons were at school, while the life I had built over 2 decades sat untouched, waiting for me to come back. I told myself I deserved it, that I deserved to feel alive again. But that wasn't true. I wasn't searching for something missing. I was running from something stable. The affair lasted 7 months. 7 months of lies that got easier every time I told them. We met twice a week. I deleted messages, hid receipts, created entire alternate versions of my day. Daniel trusted me completely. That was the worst part. That trust made everything effortless and unbearable in ways I refused to acknowledge. I started changing. Small things at first. I became impatient with Mason, dismissive with Tyler. I stopped listening when Daniel talked. Conversations felt like interruptions. Family dinners felt like obligations. I was there, but I wasn't really there. Tyler noticed first. Of course he did. He was 19, old enough to read what people don't say. "Mom, are you okay?" he asked one night, watching me too closely. "I'm fine," I said quickly, "just stressed." He didn't believe me. I could see it in his face, but he let it go. And I let him, because acknowledging it would mean admitting something was wrong, and I wasn't ready to do that. The signs about Ethan were always there. I just chose not to see them. He checked his phone constantly, never talked about anything real, never asked about my life beyond what was convenient. "This is just fun, right?" he said once, pulling me closer. "We're not trying to blow up your life." I laughed it off. But the truth sat there between us. Heavy, unspoken. He was right. We weren't trying to destroy anything. We already were. Looking back, there was a moment, a small one, easy to miss, where I could have stopped, where I could have chosen differently, where I could have gone home, sat across from Daniel, and told him I felt invisible instead of proving it in the worst possible way. But I didn't, because at the time, destruction didn't feel like destruction. It felt like excitement, like freedom, like finally waking up. I didn't realize I was walking straight toward the moment that would erase everything. Not just my marriage, not just my reputation, but my place in my sons' lives. And when it finally came, it wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It was quiet, simple. A single unlocked phone, a message I forgot to delete, and a man sitting on the edge of our bed, holding everything I had tried to hide. I didn't know it yet, but that was the moment my life ended. When I walked out of the bathroom, my hair still damp, steam trailing behind me. Daniel was sitting on the edge of our bed, my phone in his hand. He wasn't yelling. He wasn't pacing. He wasn't even looking at me. He was just staring at the screen. Still, too still. And somehow that was worse. How long? His voice was flat. Not angry, not emotional, just empty. Daniel, I can explain. How long, Lauren? I felt my throat tighten. There are moments when your entire life narrows down to a single choice. Tell the truth, or lie again. 7 months, I whispered. But it's over. It didn't mean anything. The second the words left my mouth, I saw it happen. Something inside him collapsed. Not dramatically. Not loudly. Just gone. 22 years. Gone in one breath. With Ethan, I nodded. He closed his eyes for a second. Just one. But when he opened them again, he looked older. Like something had aged him all at once. Get out. I blinked. What? Get out of this room, he said quietly. Now. Daniel, please. I said get out. There was no volume. No shouting. Just finality. The kind you don't argue with. I slept in the guest room that night. Or tried to. I stared at the ceiling, replaying everything. Trying to piece together a version of reality where this wasn't as bad as it looked. Where I could fix it. Where it wasn't already broken beyond repair. Around midnight, I texted Ethan. He knows. The reply came an hour later. That's rough. Maybe give him some space. That was it. No panic. No apology. No concern. Just inconvenience. And for the first time, something cold slipped into my chest. The next morning, Daniel was gone. No confrontation. No conversation. Just a note on the kitchen counter. Staying at a hotel. Don't contact me. I need time. I called him. Once. Twice. 30 times. Nothing. I drove to his office. His assistant wouldn't meet my eyes. He's taken a leave of absence. Of course he had. Of course he needed to disappear. I was the one who made that necessary.
Yes.
I called his mother next. Big mistake. What did you do to my son? Her voice wasn't angry. It was worse. It was disgusted. It was a mistake, I said quickly. I need to talk to him. He told me everything. About you. About Ethan. Her breath hitched slightly. Not sadness. Revulsion. How could you do this? To him? To your boys? I wanted to fix it. There's nothing to fix. The line went dead. That afternoon, Tyler and Mason came home. Backpacks dropped. Shoes kicked off. Normal. Everything looked normal. And I stood there in the kitchen, holding a life that had already shattered. Where's Dad? Tyler asked. He's staying somewhere else for a few days. Tyler frowned. We had a fight. About what? I opened my mouth. And nothing came out. Because there are some truths you can't say out loud. Not to your children. Adult stuff, I said finally. It'll be fine. Even as I said it, I knew it was a lie. It would never be fine again.
Guy.
Daniel came back 3 days later. And somehow, he felt like a stranger in his own house. Harder. Colder. Like something essential had been carved out of him. We need to talk. His voice carried through the house. Tyler and Mason froze. Boys, go to your rooms. They hesitated. But they went. Slowly. Reluctantly. Afraid. Daniel sat across from me at the kitchen table. The same table where we'd built our life. Homework. Birthdays. Plans. Everything. I want a divorce. The words landed quietly. But they hit harder than anything he could have shouted. Daniel, please. I don't want to work through this, he said, cutting me off. I don't want counseling. I don't want explanations. I don't want excuses. Tears burned my eyes. I made a mistake. You slept with my brother for 7 months. Each word was precise, controlled, sharp. While I was working, while I trusted you, while I built this life for us. It meant nothing. Then why did you do it? I opened my mouth and realized I didn't have an answer. Not one that didn't make me sound exactly like what I was. Selfish, entitled, careless. I don't know, I whispered. I'm sorry. He let out a slow breath. Sorry doesn't fix this. Then he said something I didn't expect. Ethan called me. My heart jumped. Hope. Stupid. Fragile. Hope. He apologized, Daniel continued. Said it was his fault. That he pursued you. That he wants to make things right. For a second, I thought this might save me. If Ethan took responsibility, if Daniel saw me as less guilty, maybe... What did you say? I asked. Daniel's eyes locked onto mine. I told him to never contact me again. The hope shattered instantly. He's dead to me. And this is the moment that destroyed everything beyond repair. Daniel, I said carefully, he's your brother. You can't cut him off forever. Family forgives family. Silence. Heavy. Unforgiving. Daniel stared at me, like he didn't recognize the person sitting across from him. Then he laughed. A short, hollow sound that made something in my chest twist painfully. Are you serious right now? I just mean, you're asking me to forgive him? His voice rose for the first time. While you're sitting here asking me to forgive you? I'm just saying he made a mistake. People make mistakes. He stood up so suddenly the chair scraped loudly against the floor. Get out. My heart dropped. What? Get out of my house, now. This is my house too. The house I paid for while you were sleeping with my brother. Each word hit like a slap. I'll have my lawyer contact you, he continued. Pack a bag. Leave. What about the boys? They're staying with me. You can't keep them from me. I can keep them from watching their mother defend the man who helped destroy their family. That's when it hit me. Not just what I'd done, but how it looked, how it felt to everyone else. I packed with shaking hands. A bag. That was all I was allowed. 22 years reduced to what I could carry. Tyler and Mason stood at the top of the stairs, watching, confused, scared. Mom, what's happening? Mason's voice cracked. I just have to go away for a little while. Why? Tyler asked, sharper. What did you do? Daniel stepped behind them. Boys, go to your rooms. Dad. Now. They hesitated, then obeyed. But Tyler didn't look away from me. Not once. He knew. Not everything, but enough. I walked out of that house with my bag in my hand, and nowhere to go. So I drove to Ethan. Of course I did. Because when everything collapses, you reach for the person you think caused it. Jeb. He opened the door, already annoyed. Lauren, this isn't a good time. I have nowhere else to go, I said quickly. Daniel kicked me out. He ran a hand through his hair. Yeah, about that. I stepped forward and saw it. A purse on the couch. Not mine. A woman's voice from the bathroom. Laughing. Soft. Unfamiliar. Are you serious right now? My voice broke. He sighed. We were just having fun, Lauren. You knew that. I lost my marriage for you. No, he said flatly. You lost your marriage because you cheated. That's on you. The words hit harder than anything Daniel had said. I didn't make you any promises. And then he closed the door in my face. I sat in my car for 2 hours. Didn't move. Didn't think. Just sat there, realizing I hadn't just destroyed my life. I had destroyed it. For nothing. By the time I got to my sister's house, I looked like someone I didn't recognize. She opened the door, took one look at me, and said quietly, "What did you do?" I didn't answer, because for the first time, I was starting to understand the damage, and it was already too late to undo any of it. 3 months later, I was standing under fluorescent lights, wearing a red vest, scanning barcodes for $15 an hour. Paper or plastic? The woman in front of me didn't answer right away. She was staring, recognition moving slowly across her face. Lauren, she said finally. I forced a small smile. Yes, hi. Her eyes dropped to the name tag on my chest, then back to my face. And in that split second, I saw it. The shift, from curiosity to understanding to judgment. You work here now? Just for now, I said quickly. She nodded, but she was already reaching for her phone as she walked away. And I knew exactly what that meant. By then, everything had unraveled. The divorce was finalized faster than I thought possible. Daniel had a better lawyer, a better case, a better story, and I had nothing but apologies that came too late. The courtroom smelled like paper and polished wood. Cold, impersonal, like it had seen too many lives fall apart to care about another one. I sat at one table, Daniel at the other. We didn't look at each other, not once. His lawyer stood first, confident, prepared. Your Honor, she began, Mrs. Hayes carried on a 7-month affair with her husband's brother. Each word landed like it was being carved into something permanent. She lied repeatedly, not only to her husband, but to her children. I swallowed hard. She then told her husband, and I quote, "You have to forgive your brother. Family forgives family." The judge's eyes lifted slowly to me, sharp, assessing. She minimized the harm done to Mr. Hayes and prioritized the man who betrayed him. This demonstrates a serious lack of judgment. I wanted to speak, to explain, to tell them I hadn't meant it like that. But intent doesn't erase impact. When it was my turn, my voice felt too small for the room. It was a mistake, I said. I love my sons. I want a second chance. The judge, a woman in her 60s, leaned forward slightly. Mrs. Hayes, she said calmly, you had an affair with your brother-in-law for 7 months. Her tone wasn't cruel. It was factual. That alone shows a breach of trust. But asking your husband to forgive the person who participated in that betrayal indicates a deeper issue. She paused. Let it settle. I'm granting Mr. Hayes primary custody. Mason was in the courtroom. I didn't know that until I heard him crying. Soft, broken, standing beside Daniel. That sound, it stayed with me longer than anything else. Tyler didn't cry. He waited until we were in the parking lot. Mom, he said. I turned. Hope flickered for a second. I'm still your mom, I said quickly. I love you. His voice was flat. Empty. So, I said weakly, people make mistakes. A mistake is forgetting to pick me up, he cut in. This isn't a mistake. Each word was deliberate. You betrayed all of us. My chest tightened. I want to fix this. You can't. And then he said the one thing that finished it. The worst part isn't even the affair. I froze. It's that you told Dad to forgive him. His eyes locked onto mine. Like what you did to him wasn't that bad. That's when I knew, he continued, quieter now. You don't get it. He stepped back, turned, got into Daniel's car, and left. That was the last real conversation I had with my older son. Mason still came for visits. Every other weekend, 4 days a month. That was the arrangement. On paper, it looked fair. In reality, it felt like punishment. He barely spoke, sat on the couch, head down, scrolling, avoiding me. Honey, do you want to go get ice cream? I asked once. I'm good. Maybe a movie? I have homework. You're on your phone. He didn't look up. I said, I'm good. I miss you, I said quietly. That made him pause, just for a second. Then, we're not a family anymore. The words were soft, but they hit harder than anything Tyler had said. Mason, that's not fair. You want to talk about fair? He snapped, finally looking at me. His eyes were red. Dad cries at night. I froze. Tyler hears him, I hear him. His voice cracked. He tries to hide it, but we know. My throat tightened painfully. You broke him, Mom. Silence filled the room. Heavy, unforgiving. And then, Mason added, quieter now, you told him to get over it, to forgive Uncle Ethan, like it didn't matter. I didn't mean it like that. Yeah, he said, you did. After that, he started leaving early. Every visit. Dad's coming to get me. You just got here. I have stuff to do. He wouldn't meet my eyes. Not anymore. And outside of my children, things got worse. Lisa, my best friend for 15 years, sent one text. I can't support what you did. Don't contact me again. Blocked. Just like that. The other moms stopped inviting me. Group chats went silent. I'd see photos later. Coffee. Brunch. Laughter. I wasn't there. I wasn't even mentioned. I became a story. A warning. Did you hear about Lauren Hayes? She had an affair with her brother-in-law. I can't even imagine. 6 weeks after the divorce, I lost my job. My boss called me in. Didn't sit down. Didn't pretend. I think it's best if we part ways. Because of my personal life? Because your presence is affecting the team. That was the official version. The real version? No one wanted to work next to me. Not after everything became public. 2 weeks severance. That was it. 2 weeks to rebuild a life that had taken decades to create. Bye. I applied everywhere. Dozens of jobs. Interviews went well. Until they Googled me. And Lauren Hayes affair. Lauren Hayes brother-in-law. Lauren Hayes divorce. No one called back. So I ended up here. Target. Red vest. Name tag. A life reduced to survival. Ethan disappeared completely. Blocked my number. Didn't answer a single message. I saw him once on Instagram. A photo. Smiling. Arm around a woman who couldn't have been older than 26. Yoga instructor. Blonde. Carefree. She had no idea. Or maybe she did. Maybe it didn't matter. And just when I thought it couldn't get worse, it did. 6 weeks ago. Tyler got engaged. I didn't hear it from him. I saw it online. Photos. Perfect lighting. Perfect smiles. Family gathered around him. Daniel. Mason. Daniel's parents. His sister. Everyone. Except me. I called him. Hands shaking. He answered. Mom. Ty, I said quickly. Congratulations. She's beautiful. Thanks. A pause. Heavy. I wish I could have been there. Silence. Then, you're not going to be at the wedding either. My heart stopped. What? I'm getting married in October. His voice was calm. Final. You're not invited. For a second, I thought I misheard him. What do you mean, and I'm not invited? There was a pause on the line. Not hesitation. Just distance. I can't have you there, Mom. My grip tightened around the phone. I'm your mother. Silence. Then, you stopped being my mom when you chose Uncle Ethan over Dad. The words didn't come out angry. They came out settled. Like something he had already accepted. Tyler, please, I whispered. I've changed. I understand now. I'll do anything. It's too late. No raised voice. No emotion. Just truth. I can't trust you, he continued. Mason can't trust you. Dad definitely can't trust you. Each sentence felt like a door closing. And I'm not bringing that into the most important day of my life. My chest tightened so hard it felt like I couldn't breathe. Can I at least meet her? I asked. Your fiancé? Another pause. She knows about you. The way he said it, it sounded like a warning. She doesn't want to meet you. The line went dead. That was the moment everything collapsed. Not the affair. Not the divorce. Not even losing custody. This was the moment it became permanent. I wasn't going to my son's wedding. I wasn't going to meet the woman he loved. I wasn't going to be in the photos. I wasn't going to sit in the front row. I wasn't going to exist in that day at all. Daniel would. He would stand beside Tyler, shake hands, smile for pictures, give the speech, be the father everyone saw. And I would be nowhere. That's when it finally hit me. The full weight of what I had done. I didn't just lose my husband. I lost my place in my own family, my sons, their milestones, their future, everything. A year passed, then another. Time didn't fix anything. It just made the distance permanent. I'm 47 now, still at Target, still in my sister's spare bedroom, still sleeping in a twin bed surrounded by boxes that aren't mine. Tyler's wedding is in 4 months. I won't be there. I won't meet my future daughter-in-law. I won't meet my grandchildren when they come. I'll see photos online. If I'm lucky. Mason barely visits anymore. Once a month. Sometimes less. He leaves early every time. Always has somewhere else to be. Somewhere that isn't with me. Daniel is engaged. I heard it through someone else. A woman from his office. Divorced. Kind. The boys like her. Of course they do. Mason mentioned her once. Casually. Dad's fiancé made lasagna. I smiled. Like it didn't matter. Was it good? Yeah. He looked at his phone. Didn't notice the way my hands tightened in my lap. She's cooking in my old kitchen now. Standing where I used to stand. Serving meals to my sons. Laughing at the table I abandoned. She didn't steal my life. I handed it to her. Sometimes I drive past the house. I don't stop. I just slow down. Look! New curtains. Different car in the driveway. A life that moved on without me. Once I parked down the street. Sat there longer than I should have. A neighbor came out. Asked if I was okay. I said yes. Because what else do you say when the answer is no in every possible way? The loneliness is quiet. Not dramatic. Not loud. Just constant. Dinner alone. Scrolling through photos I'm not in. Watching birthdays happen without me. Watching my sons grow into men who don't need me. My sister tries. She does. But even she asked me one night, "What were you thinking?" I didn't have an answer then. I still don't. You had everything, she said. A good husband. A family. A life people would fight for. I know. And you threw it away for what? I stared at the floor. It wasn't about him, I said finally. It was about how I felt. And how do you feel now? I didn't hesitate. Empty. I tried therapy. I thought maybe if I understood it, I could fix it. You prioritize short-term excitement over long-term stability, the therapist said. I nodded. I know. You betrayed your husband with his brother, she continued. And then you asked him to forgive the person who helped hurt him. Hearing it out loud, it sounded worse every time. You weren't trying to keep your family together, she added. You were trying to avoid taking full responsibility. That one stayed with me. Can I fix this? I asked. She didn't soften it. Not with your husband. I looked down. That bridge is gone. And my sons? A pause. Maybe. Over time, if your actions change consistently. Maybe. There are no guarantees. There are no guarantees. That's the part no one tells you. You think regret earns you something. A second chance. A way back. It doesn't. Mom. 2 years later. Here's what's left. A job that barely pays the bills. A room that isn't mine. Children who don't call. A wedding I won't attend. A life I watch from the outside. And a sentence that follows me everywhere. Quiet. Unavoidable. Some betrayals don't get second chances. Daniel gave me everything. Loyalty. Stability. A family. A life. And I traded it. For 7 months with a man who didn't even answer my calls when it mattered. That's the truth I live with. Every day. If you're standing where I once stood, thinking about crossing that line, thinking about how harmless it feels, how justified, how deserved. Stop. Because you're not just risking your marriage. You're risking everything that comes after it. And some losses don't come back. Some doors stay closed. Some bridges stay burned. And some betrayals never heal. This is my life now, and I earned every part of it. Paz.